And welcome to the Marcus and Mike Show. I am Mike. My man over here to my left is my man, Marcus. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. I'm not depressed or anything, but it's just like, oh man, we have to wait another 3 days for the Warriors dynasty to end. It's like, man,
It's
it
not
could have
going to
just
end,
ended
Marcus.
last night,
It's not going to
huh?
end. They're going to come back and win Game 7. I'm telling you.
No, they're not. If any clear thinking human that knows basketball can see that Toronto Raptors are a better basketball team. It's
Hey,
just they're letting this misery prolong. They let that third quarter go in game two, and then they just gave the game away. And the Warriors have literally done almost nothing, and they won two games, which is kind of very weird. The Raptors are letting them off the hook big time.
well, Marcus, the better team doesn't always win. Look at the Kansas City Chiefs last year. They didn't win a Super Bowl.
Yep.
The Saints ended up going to the Super or the so like
Yeah.
the better team doesn't always win. But guys, if you
Are
guys
you still?
what's
Yeah, are you
that?
still sending D Ford birthday presents and Christmas cards to
Yeah,
because to your Super Bowl?
yeah, I'm still kind of heartbroken about that. But
Yeah,
he
hey,
does want to
listen, I'm a
become a
Cowboy fan.
he
I
does
still
want to be a
hate
chief
Patrick
still.
Creighton, huh?
He still wants to be a chief though.
Man, that man cost you a Super Bowl appearance.
Yeah, he did.
I would never
He
forgive
cost
him.
us a Super Bowl win. I mean, face it,
Yeah, I mean,
he,
if you beat the Rams, sure, you probably. I mean,
we would
he
have
cost
destroyed
you
the
at least an
Rams.
appearance, though.
Game over with the Rams.
Yeah, and as a Cowboy fan, I hate Patrick Creighton.
Right.
I mean, he cost us the 2007 divisional.
Yep.
Um, Tony Romo scrambling for his life and does what Tony Romo does. He gets out of it, throws a great pass to Patrick Creighton, and Patrick Creighton drops the ball. He had nothing but green field in front of him to beat the Giants in the 2007 divisional. Patrick Creighton drops the ball, and the Giants win the Super Bowl. Thank you, Patrick Creighton. Your check's in the mail.
Well, guys, let's switch back over to basketball a little bit here. The Warriors did win game last night, 106 to 105. Pretty much the main storyline out of that game was KD coming in. He started the game. He hit five quick shots, sat down, came back in the second quarter, and tore his Achilles. So well, I mean, like I don't know if that's confirmed yet, but it's been speculated that it is torn Achilles from what I've
Yeah.
heard. So first of all, what are your thoughts on the game, Marcus?
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about Durant in a minute, but yeah, the game. I mean, look, uh, uh, Golden State hit 23s and they had 60 points from the 3 point line, and still only won by one. You know what that tells me? The better team is Toronto. Okay, you can live and die with that 3 point shot. That's awesome. But usually that catches up with you in the end, and it comes back to bite you if that's what you're pretty much solely living on. And so, yeah, I mean, Toronto made a bunch of mistakes down the stretch. Nick Nurse calling a timeout with 3.5 minutes left when Kawhi was just on a rampage. And you could see Klay Thompson and Stephen Curry were gassed. They were tired.
Right.
And you gave them a free timeout to get their legs under them. Nick Nurse might live to regret this day. I don't think he will because I think Toronto's still the better team and they'll handle their business and win this series. But you don't call a timeout in that situation, Coach Nurse. Kawhi was going hard. Um, Klay Thompson and Stephen Curry were dead. And man, when you give a shooter a couple of minutes rest to get their legs under them, and that's exactly what happened. And the next thing you know, Curry and Thompson ended the game on a 9-2 run there, and finished the game. The better team lost yesterday. I mean, anybody can see that. I mean, I don't. I would hope everybody could see that. They just gave the game away. And Kyle Lowry did commit a turnover with 2 minutes left. Nick Nurse is losing the coaching battle here because he doesn't go to Gasol in the post at the end of games. I know he wants to let Kawhi do his thing, but look, if Kawhi is not, if Kawhi gives the ball up and gives it to Kyle Lowry's got to tell Mark Gasol to get down there in the post and shoot over Draymond Green or Klay Thompson. They were or Andre Iguodala. They were playing a small ball lineup, and I got a former 7 foot All Star in my lineup for Toronto, and you got to go down there and punish them and get an easy 2 points. And Nick Nurse, for whatever reason, refuses to do that. So it's very odd to me, very weird to me. But the Warriors, I mean, Toronto gave that game away. The Warriors just escaped with their life right there. And look at their 2 wins. I mean, they basically, they escaped with their life. The other win, game two, the last 5 minutes of the game, the Warriors didn't even score because Toronto puts that defense on them. But Toronto couldn't score enough points to win the game, which is odd. Another reason Nick Nurse got out coached that game. He's gotta go in there and go to Marc Gasol when the Warriors have that small ball lineup. So Toronto's giving these games away, and it's disheartening. It's really disheartening. So now we got to live with another 3 days of the Golden State Championship motto and all the BS and the heart of a champion baloney. They were ready to get beat yesterday, and a team didn't take advantage of it. Next game, all they're going to do is do boxing one on Curry on critical moments. He will not score, and Toronto's going to win the next game. This is almost borderline ridiculous how the Golden State Warriors are winning these games.
Yeah, just to add to your points there, how the Raptors gave away this game. They had a 6-point lead with 3 minutes to go in the game, or it was like 2 or 3 minutes, and the only team ever to give up a 6-point lead and lose a game in the NBA Finals was the 2004 Detroit Pistons, when they did it back 15 years ago or 16 years
15,
ago. Yeah. So that was a historic collapse in air quotes there. I mean, because like 9 points really isn't that much really in the grand scheme of things.
Right.
Also, when KD was on the court, they were +6. So when they went out, they were a -5 on the Golden State side of things. So if KD did not score his 11 points there in the first quarter and a half, we would be talking the Toronto Raptors right now 100%. And then just to add to a couple more points there that like you made, every time Golden State Warriors make 10 more threes than their opponents, they are 27-0. So take that, just take that stat there for you.
Well, yeah.
When they make 10 more threes than the other team makes, they are 27-0, which they should be. Like when you're scoring 30 more points from the outside, you better be winning a lot of games. But that's also Golden State's MO, is they shoot threes. They live and die by the 3-point shot. So I mean that stat, you can take it with a grain of salt, or you can like live by that stat. So like that stat is a very obscure stat. I mean, it doesn't really make a lot of sense because they do shoot so many 3-point shots.
Well, Michael, here, let me just give you this little gem here. The Golden State Warriors were like 15th in the NBA this year in 3-point shooting. In other words, they weren't living and dying this year by the 3. They were getting a lot of backdoor cuts, and they were winning, and they were getting layups. And Toronto is cutting all that out and making it all perimeter. Mm-hmm. Toronto's the best defense they've seen in 5 years. So they're making Golden State become the Houston Rockets.
Yeah,
and shoot a bunch of threes.
But we also know that they can shoot a bunch of threes and make a bunch of threes because that's what they've done in like years past.
Yeah. No, and then if you want to get technical, you're 100% right. Toronto lost the game at the 3-point line. I mean, when one team scores 60 points at the 3-point line and the other team scores 15 points or whatever it was at the 3-point line, you're going to lose that basketball game almost, 99% of the time, 100% of the time. I mean, and it's funny. This is how good Toronto is, though. You saw the first quarter? Did you watch it?
Yes.
Golden State was hitting everything, right?
Right.
And guess what the score was when Durant went down? And Durant was it was 39-34.
Mm-hmm.
That told me Toronto was the better team at that point.
Right.
Because they were just hitting all these threes and weren't missing, and the score was 39-34. It wasn't 39-20. So Toronto is really the better overall basketball, more cohesive team than the Golden State Warriors. Better defensively, and that also told me Toronto has the best player in the world. And then Kawhi Leonard, that first quarter, had 3 turnovers. He wasn't playing well, and they still were only down by 5 when Durant got hurt. It was 39-34. So we'll see what happens here moving forward, but I fully expect Toronto. I mean, Toronto's got to be like, oh, God, like, damn, we let one get away. I mean, we'll talk more about Game 6 on Thursday, but I know Toronto's not going to let this get away. I mean, you're not going to. They're going to play a different kind of defense, especially without Durant. And
Right.
with Durant, you're 100% correct. They were +5, +6, but that's the kind of player Durant is. I mean, if you add Durant to any team, the Warriors are already a great team. They're a regular great team without Durant.
Yes.
Okay, you saw what they did to Portland and Houston, right? Without Durant,
Mm-hmm.
so they can go. They breeze through the West without Durant, pretty much. Um, Although they needed his help a little bit, in the beginning rounds. But once you get to this Eastern Conference, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Philadelphia 76ers, and the Toronto Raptors play great defense and have really good team. They have better teams than what Portland and Houston have. And so I knew Golden State was going to struggle. It did. Right now, the Philadelphia 76ers would be taking the Warriors to a brink of elimination as well. Philadelphia 76ers don't look too bad, do they now?
No.
Kawhi
Sure
Leonard
don't.
having to hit a miracle Game 7 shot. I told you before, the Philadelphia 76ers had the best starting five in basketball if Kevin Durant is not playing for the Warriors. The 76ers look great. Milwaukee Bucks right now would be stifling the Golden State Warriors defensively right now. Now, would they score enough points to beat the Warriors? We don't know. But Toronto is, and Toronto has Kawhi Leonard. So we'll see what happens moving forward. But this is going to be really, really interesting. And then now we can get to the Kevin Durant stuff because I'm sick about it right now.
Yeah, but I want to touch on your point. One quick topic there. When the Raptors were up by 9 points and their coach did call a timeout, I know why he called a timeout there. Kawhi looked like he was gassed. He was wore out. He needed a break just as much as Stephen Clay did.
Michael,
So
he always looks like that. I'm going to keep it real with you.
yeah.
He always looks like that.
So do you think he's actually tired, or he just looks like he's tired?
He is tired, but he is tired, but he goes into another gear. He's like LeBron James. Let me tell you something. Emmitt Smith looked like he was gonna die, and then he busts 15 yards on you. Tony Dorsett, Earl Campbell, Kobe Bryant looked like he couldn't walk, and then hit 3 straight threes on you.
Right.
That's how some of the greats are. They're tired, and then they play around with you, and that's how Kawhi Leonard is. Kind of like a prima donna type thing. Curry and Thompson don't do that. Like their body language. I've watched them for many years. When they start looking like tired, their 3-pointers don't fall.
Yeah.
Because they're not that type of player. They're not the Kawhi Leonard. LeBron James, looks like he's about to, help me, tap out, and then all of a sudden, he drives the lane and 3 dunks. So it's kind of like lulling you to sleep. Jordan might look like that too. Oh yeah, Jordan's about to pass out, and then he hits 5 consecutive jumpers on you.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like they're kind of lulling you to sleep there. Kawhi Leonard does that. He did. That's just is what he does.
Yeah. So like you just brought up the KD thing here. He did go down in the middle of second quarter here, guys, with an apparent Achilles injury. They were supposed to have an MRI today. I haven't heard if it is confirmed or not yet. But there's been 8 or 9 players in the last 6 years that have gone down with Achilles injuries. The most recent one has been Boogie Cousins. He missed 365 days before he played basketball again. So KD is more than likely going to be out for at least 8 or 9 months. So he could very well miss all NBA season next year, the 2019-2020 season.
Yeah.
So with this injury, we were just talking about this on yesterday's show. He was the focal point of this free agency. Do you think the landscape of the NBA has officially changed now, with him going to be missing the whole 2019-2020 season? Looks like we may have missed Marcus a little bit there. So we'll go back to myself a little bit once Marcus comes back in. So I do believe that KD will miss all of next season if he has any type of head on his shoulders at all. Come back fully healthy, sign his option with Golden State, stay there for a year, earn his $30 million or whatever he's supposed to get, and then think about free agency in the 2021 season. Marcus, I think you got cut off there. Cut off a little bit there. I believe KD is going to miss all of the 2019-2020 season, and he was the focal point of this free agency. Do you think him not being a part of free agency this summer is going to change the focal point of the NBA in general? Does it shift the whole landscape of the NBA?
Well, look, I still think Kevin Durant's going to be a part of free agency this summer. Right now, Kevin Durant should get out of Dodge and sign with the Brooklyn Nets or the New York Knicks a 4-year, $149 million extension. That's what he should do, and then get his own doctors and get the Knicks doctors involved, get his own doctors, get the hell away from the Golden State Warriors organization. There's still going to be teams clamoring for him, even though he's going to miss probably the entire year. It wouldn't actually shock me though if he missed the entire year and then came back for the playoffs for the team he signs with. That would be interesting. Like even if they were a 7th or 8th seed.
Right.
But no, he's going to still be a player in free agency. Their teams are not going to run away from a talent like this. There's no way that he should re-sign with the Golden State Warriors for $30 million and then be a free agent next year. He has to secure his money. The Warriors dropped the ball on this entire thing right here. They're terrible. Also dropped the ball. Kevin Durant dropped the ball. He's an idiot too, to be honest. And Kevin Durant's people, his uncle, mother, sister, brothers, they're stupid too. This man had an Achilles injury or a calf injury. The calf injury affects the Achilles injury. Jalen Rose reported that he went into the shoot-around yesterday morning, and they had to stop the shoot-around because he couldn't do the shoot-around anymore because he was feeling some pain, and they were thinking, oh well, let's not get the pain here. He's gonna experience some pain. Let's experience that during game time. Let's not like wear him out now. They're absolutely horrific. That's why you saw the general manager of the Warriors crying. He knows it's his fault. He knows he made a mistake. There's absolutely no way you let this man play. If you really want to re-sign him and keep him in your program. That is stupid. And Steve Kerr said, he's playing. He has no minute restriction. I would be done playing for him too. I mean, these are idiots. I mean, these are smart people, but they made idiot choices here. I mean, it was absolutely terrible. If I'm Kevin Durant's uncle or whatever, we would have never played. That's ridiculous. Why would we risk? I'm a 2-time Finals MVP. I'm Kevin Durant. I'm not going out there for a championship to maybe have a chance at ruining my career, and then may not be the same, and I won't be the 30 points per game Kevin Durant. I might just be a catch and shoot guy at 16 points per game. And look how Rudy Gay and Boogie Cousins struggled, and look what the Achilles did to Kobe Bryant. Are you joking? We're not playing, and I'm sorry. And as soon as I'm Kevin Durant's uncle, I'm speaking of right now, and as soon as I tell Steve Kerr that, and I tell the Warriors brass that, you know what they'll tell me? Yes, sir. We respect your decision. And I'll be expecting my 5-year, $200 million contract pretty soon after the season. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. The Warriors organization dropped the ball here. Kevin Durant should run to the hills and sign a 4-year. The max he can sign is a 4-year, $149 million extension. He can sign it with the Clippers. He's not going to Lakers. He could sign it with the Lakers, but he doesn't want to team up with LeBron. He'll sign it with the Clippers, the Nets, or the Knicks. He needs to get the hell away from the Golden State Warriors. He probably should make them pay for his rehab because he got hurt on the Warriors' dime. So he won't have to. The new organization won't have to spend any money on that. I'd have my lawyer make sure that happens. So yeah, Kevin Durant. Everybody dropped the ball in this situation. He's a fool. His family are fools. Then the organization are fools. All three are responsible for this.
Right, and just to add what I was saying earlier, you are 100% correct on this issue, Marcus. They are all fools. Because back, if you guys remember 3 weeks ago or like a month ago, it was first reported like it was just a mild strain, and he was going to be out for like 10 days. I think it was. As soon as he did not play in that next series, you guys knew it had to have been more serious than what it actually was. They were keeping everything hush hush, under wraps, etc. So you knew it was not a grade 1. I believe is what it was referred to. And then also, if you listen to the post-game press conferences, you saw people like Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, etc., usually they just refer to Coach Kerr as just Steve Kerr or Kerr. They were
Yeah.
referring to him as Coach. So like Coach Kerr, Coach Kerr, Coach Kerr, because they knew stuff was about to roll downhill because Steve Kerr is to blame. The general manager is to blame. So like all the
Yeah.
players were saying their titles just to have their backs. I
Oh,
do believe.
yes.
Uh,
No, and then one of Durant's best friends, Kendrick Perkins. I don't know if you remember him.
yeah,
He won a championship with the Celtics, and he played with Kevin Durant at OKC. He told Kevin Durant not to play, and and Kendrick Perkins is pissed right now because he knows that Kevin Durant should not have played. He told Kevin Durant not to play, and Kevin Durant didn't even listen to one of his best friends, Kendrick Perkins. So Kevin Durant does have responsibility in this. But if you're the organization, Michael, you have got to say, you're not playing. I don't care if you want to play.
well, this also tells me that the organization, also knew that KD was 3/4 of the way out, and they
Yeah,
wanted to win one more championship. So
right.
I'm sure they pushed KD to get out there just
Hey,
because
look.
the
Yep.
general manager wouldn't have been that upset, that emotional for a
Yes.
player getting injured that is still technically under contract for a year still, but he just has he just opt out or however you term that.
Man,
But you
they
knew he was on his way out, so it is just like a tailback in the NFL. I'm going to use you and abuse you while I got you. If you get hurt, injured, wipe my hands and move on to the next team. That's exactly what happened there.
they dropped the ball big time in this situation, and I don't really hear anybody talking about it like that. Everybody doesn't want to step on toes and all that crap.
Forget that.
What?
They
Tell the
they
truth.
they knew he was on his way out, and they don't care about his health.
Right. I
Let's
mean,
be 100% honest.
yeah, I mean, that's a great point, and that's why Kevin Durant needs to leave and sign a 4-year, $149 million deal with the Nets or the Knicks or the Clippers. Get the hell out of there. I mean,
I would sign on a Western Conference team just so Golden State would never make it to the NBA Finals ever again.
that would be funny. That's funny. That's
Yeah,
funny. Hey, but yeah, and then I don't know. I noticed this too. Durant, um, he was catching and shooting. He was making a couple of moves before he got hurt, and he
yeah,
was more of a catch and shoot player. I was watching it really closely. Once he started trying to go by Siakam, he couldn't.
yeah.
Like, and Siakam's a good defender, and then he tried to go by Ibaka, and he couldn't, and that's when he tore his Achilles. So he was having, he wasn't the same Kevin Durant that we've
He was probably
been accustomed to
50%
seeing.
tops.
No, I mean, so and they blew him, Michael, and this is crazy, and he needs
Yeah.
to leave. And what's sad about it for me is he didn't have like a family member to stop him, like somebody he looks up to and respects. It seems like Kendrick Perkins would have been that guy, even though they're not family. But he didn't even listen to Kendrick. Man, he doesn't have anybody to say, "Hey, bruh, like, no, dude, I don't care what pressure they're putting on you or your pressure you're putting on yourself. We are not going. You're 30 years old. You're about to be 31 in September. We are not risking your career for you to try to help these boys win a championship again. You've already done that. You beat LeBron twice. You're a 2-time Finals MVP, dude. You are not gonna play." He didn't have anybody to tell him that, and that bothers me. That's crazy.
Well, like the question arises, he could have had people in his corner saying, "Hey, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this." But if
Right.
he's just stubborn enough to go along with what the Warriors want him to do, like
Yeah.
it is a two totally different sides of the story. Like he because he definitely has people in his corner. We've seen his mama go on national
Oh,
television and fight his battles. So I mean, he definitely has people in there
yeah.
that like have his best interest in mind. It just because at the at the end of the day, he is an athlete and he wants on the court and he wants to win a championship. So
Yeah.
I would say the Golden State Warriors were pushing him to get back on the court. Like, hey man, we're down 3 games to 1. We really need you to come out and play. And then his ego or his whatever you want to call it, like his drive to be on the court says, well, I'm 60% and I'm still better than like anybody else here on the court, so I could half-ass the game and I still win. So
Right.
like
No, Mama Durant can go on national TV and say, "Don't say that about my son," but she can't protect her son from himself and not playing, and that's bad.
Which that's the male ego. I'm better than like you are, and I don't care if my leg's hurting or not. I'm going to go out there and try to perform one way or the other. Speaking of performing here, 23 NFL teams go into OTAs today. Some of the headlining teams we have: Arizona Cardinals, Pittsburgh Steelers, Kansas City Chiefs, and the Dallas Cowboys, just to name a few. But Marcus, I asked you this question earlier. Out of those 23 teams that start this 3-day OTAs today, what camp would you want to be at to watch?
That's a good one. Well, I'm a Texans and a Cowboys fan, so I probably would pick one of those. But if you're saying, okay, don't pick a Texans or a Cowboys, I probably would like to watch the Raiders. I want to see the Raiders on Hard Knocks. I want to see Mike Mayock, who we've been watching an NFL Network, say things about all these players over the past few years about the draft. I want to see him work in his office and work and talk about on his board and see who's playing well and see who's not and see who they're going to release and who they're not going to release. I want to see John Gruden and Mike Mayock in their offices and working their boards with their respective teams. That would be fun to watch. They have 3 first-round picks. Abraham from Mississippi State looks like he's going to start at safety probably, and Cleveland Farrell's probably going to start, and Josh Jacobs is going to get a lot of playing time. Those 3 first-round picks are gold. Then I think they signed the racist guy. What's his name? Incognito, or he said a couple of racist things. I don't. Yeah, I mean, I want to. Did they sign Incognito? I think they did.
They are signing him to like what is called a 1-day contract. So like every day they are renewing his contract if he is doing well. So like I'm not for sure how that would really fly in my book. Like, hey, I'm working my tail off, but like I said, F you to like the wrong guy, and you're not gonna sign me for a Tuesday practice. Like I don't know how that's.
Hey, well, listen, Richie Incognito, for as crazy as he sounds and some of the stuff he said in the past, he's a hell of a talent. I mean, he's a hell of a guard. He moves you. I mean, Richie Incognito, he didn't make the Pro Bowl for funsies. So that's why the Raiders are trying to win now, man. They're not waiting around. That's when when they're signing a Richie Incognito that they want to win.
Yeah, because he was officially retired. So.
Yeah, and then the Browns. I want to see the Browns. I really do. I think they're going to turn it around. I really do. Baker Mayfield, to Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry. I mean, you got to be kidding me there. I mean,
you can turn around a 4-win season by going 8-8. So, I mean, if you want to call
they won 7 last year. They won 7 last year. Let's not get crazy. They're pretty good. Baker Mayfield. I've had problems. I've had issues with Baker Mayfield. I've had issues with Baker Mayfield, like how childish he acts.
Yeah.
And but man, I believe in his talent though. This guy's Brett Favre reincarnated.
Right.
Okay. And so no, they're gonna. I'm picking the Browns to win 10, 11 games this year. So I want to see them on Hard Knocks, or I want to see their OTAs. That would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Your Chiefs. I want to see Mahomes. And listen, we won't get into it now. Let's talk about this next week or whatever. But Tyreek Hill situation, they dropped the charges.
Yep.
And the Chiefs need to go ahead and reinstate him. And how stupid do those people look now when they were saying cut Tyreek Hill after what happened? When now looks like she's fabricating a few things. It's not to say that Tyreek Hill didn't do something kind of bad with his son, but not to the extent of like being prosecuted. But there's a whole lot of people that said that the Kansas City Chiefs should cut Tyreek Hill. And if the Chiefs had followed suit and listened, they would have been idiots.
Well, okay? if they would have reacted like they did with Hunt, I mean, we would be talking
Yeah,
Tyreek Hill to the Browns or to the
yeah,
Cowboys or something
right.
like that.
Well, we'll see what Roger Goodell does with Tyreek Hill. I wouldn't expect more than a 4-game
He
suspension.
shouldn't be suspended at
Really,
all.
yeah, no, you're right. You're right. But that's not the way Roger Goodell
You're
operates.
right.
Ezekiel Elliott got 6 games for not committing a crime at all,
We will
just
definitely
for
talk about
contract
this.
detrimental to the league. Huh?
We'll definitely talk about this next week
Yeah.
because the old Jets tight end just got sentenced to 15 years in jail for rape charges. So we can do a whole show about this
Well,
kind of
yeah. Well,
stuff.
Kellen Winslow's out of the league. That guy's raping old ladies, man. That
Yeah,
guy's sick.
yeah, he's
That guy. Yeah, and you know
he's
what? This isn't the only one. He's gonna be in jail and be brought up on new charges about a 70-year-old lady.
yeah,
I
which is
mean,
weird.
yeah, I mean that's so weird. I mean that's incredible. But real quick, I'd want to watch the OTAs for the Kansas City Chiefs to see how McCole Hardman is performing. Their second round pick, I think, out of Georgia, who's I think is just as fast as Tyreek Hill. He's not as strong as Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is like running back
Yeah,
strong.
he's
McCole
very
has
strong.
got yeah. McCole needs a couple of years to hit the weights. The interesting with Tyreek Hill, what makes Tyreek Hill so special is um, he gained probably 20 pounds of muscle, right? But he didn't lose his speed. A lot of players can't do that. They'll gain the 20 pounds of muscle, and then a tenth will come off their 40. But that didn't happen with Tyreek Hill, and that's what makes him special. That's why you can even hand him the ball off in running back situations. You can hand the ball to Tyreek Hill like he's a running back.
Yeah,
So, anyways, Tyreek Hill will probably get 4 games just because that's what Roger Goodell does. You don't have to have any charges against you. We found that in the Ezekiel Elliott case.
right.
So even 4 games, you know what though? I mean, listen, this is run by the NFL. They play by their own rules, Michael. You don't wait. I would go ahead and sit Tyreek Hill out. If they suspend him for 4 games, don't do what the Cowboys did and fight it,
Exactly.
and then
Exactly.
Tyreek Hill will get suspended in December, right? When they went through all the arbitration and
Payoff
all
push.
that.
Yep.
No, just go ahead and let Tyreek Hill miss the first month, and then you have Tyreek Hill all the way through the regular season and the playoffs. Just let him sit out that first month. The Chiefs will be 2-2 or 3-1. They'll be fine.
Yeah, and a team that I love to hate is the Pittsburgh Steelers. They are officially, air quotes there, starting their first season without Le'Veon Bell at the helm in the backfield. A fun fact here: Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season in Pittsburgh, and this year might be the year. So like I really want to watch that OTA just to see how that offense is performing. Is Connor actually a real deal in the tailback spot?
Yes.
Is the quarterback situation
Yeah.
still set? Is Big Ben has his heart and soul
Yes.
in this team? Because the last 3 to 4 years he says he is going to retire. So is he actually in it? And if things get hard, if they just don't look good, is he going to check himself out? So that is the OTA
Listen.
that I'm really interested in seeing.
I hate the Pittsburgh Steelers. Nothing would make me more happy than the Steelers going 4-12. I don't think that'll be the case because they still have Ben Roethlisberger and they still have a good team over there.
And they're in a horrible division.
And yeah, and their first round pick Devin Bush, they finally found a replacement for losing Ryan Shazier a couple of years ago. Devin Bush will play that Ryan Shazier position, that middle linebacker, Mike linebacker that's going to roam the field and make all the tackles. Ryan Shazier was on his way to being a dominant NFL player.
Was. Oh my
And
God.
I think Devin Bush can be that, their first round draft pick out of Michigan. So that's going to be interesting to see how well Devin Bush plays this year and how they acclimate him into the system to replace Ryan Shazier. I think he's going to be a good football player. But yeah, nothing would make me. I hate the Steelers. I hope they go 4-12. I hope Roethlisberger leads the league in interceptions. How's that? Yeah,
that'd be awesome. Well, but guys, that is going to be it for today. We have a couple more days of basketball talk, and then mock draft is in full swing here, as the draft is just 2 weeks away, guys. We will touch on that a little bit, not Thursday, but maybe next week a little bit. Just depending on how
Yes.
Thursday games go. Hopefully the Raptors
Right.
do close it out, but it's going to be a 7-game series. You heard it here first. Also, before we go, Marcus, I want to call out all the people that like all of a sudden are saying before this most recent Raptors loss, they were all saying Raptors in 5. I told you guys this, and they were sharing posts for like 3 days ago. Guys, nobody called the Raptors in 5. If you said you did, you're a liar. Nobody picked this game nobody picked this a 5-game series, especially in Toronto's favor. You may have picked a 5-game series in the Golden State favor, but not in the Toronto favor. So if you said that,
Yeah.
you are a flat out liar. Sorry.
Right, and I had Raptors in 7, so I was hoping I was wrong, but I had Raptors in 7.
Yeah, but it is what it is, guys. Join us on Thursday. We'll be off tomorrow. You know, we just need to recharge the batteries a little bit. So, guys, join us Thursday. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share as well, and we'll catch you guys then. Have a good day.